I originally chose to be a philosophy major to piss off my dad. My name is Andrew Bailey, and I'm a philosophy professor at Yale-NUS. He really wanted me to be an academic of some sort or maybe a lawyer, and he signed me up to be a history major. And I looked at the humanities majors just because that was the cluster of majors that were nearby. And philosophy, I knew a little bit about it. I read Descartes in high school, so I picked that instead. Doing it as a career was almost an accident. I missed an LSAT exam, the US Law School admissions test. And then I missed another one. I was fighting with my girlfriend the night before. And so I couldn't go to law school that year because I didn't have the admission scores. I actually looked it up just a few weeks ago. On September 30th of 2005, I sent an email to my disappointed father telling him that I was not able to take the law school test and that I would be doing the GRE instead and going to graduate school. So that was almost 10 years ago, about 10 years and 1 week ago. And I found in philosophy something that gave me real clarity and joy. And even when it was confusing, which it often is, it still felt exhilarating. It's not that exotic, except maybe it's not that exotic in the States. It's something like 5% of Americans are homeschooled now, which amounts to millions of kids. I think the defining feature for me was the freedom I was afforded. In part, it was due to my own rebellion. I refused to do the work that was assigned to me, and my mom eventually gave up, somewhere around the point where I became larger than her and defiant enough to not obey. And I just stopped doing schoolwork and started doing whatever I felt like. I was born in the West Coast, in Washington State, lived in LA, I've lived in the Midwest and in the East Coast. I was ready to move on. Oh, I think it's the best country in the world. I'm an unapologetic apologist for Singapore. I'm trying to remember my very first cab driver conversation. That was probably my first memory of Singapore. You know, get out of Changi Airport, it's maybe past midnight. It was the flight that comes in through Narita, with the last one of the evenings. And what I appreciate most about living in Singapore, I think, there's a lot I like about living here, is that the background noise of managing risk is diminished for me. And that's just, it's great. It adds 20% of quality of life just by being in Singapore instead of being in Bangkok or New York. I love it. I'm no longer the youngest, so that sort of feels good. I think Jean Liu is the youngest at the moment. I don't think I have goals as an instructor. The first is to challenge my students, and the second is to care about them. And not just to care about them, but to demonstrate karuna. If you remember that from Bodhicharya Avatara, karuna is not the feeling of compassion, it's a disposition to act on compassion or care for other people. So it's to exercise karuna for my students, to care for them as human beings, and then to challenge them. So hopefully they feel the urge to become better by being in my class. If I had a really interesting answer, I'm not sure I would share it. Sometimes people are surprised when they find out that I'm a musician. But people here know that, so I played piano in front of students. So I don't think I have anything interesting to report there.